Thanks for joining us for another session of Coffee with the Candidates. This is Nancy Winandy, CEO of Yankton Thrive, and today I have with us Dan Klimisch. He is running for one of the 3 spots available on the Yankton County Commission. There are 5 candidates all trying to vie for those 3 spots. The other candidates are Matt Evans, Sherry Loest, John Marquardt, and Ryan Heine. Thanks for joining us today, Dan.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here.
So why don't you go ahead and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dan Klimisch. I'm a 5th generation farmer on my Klimisch side, 6th generation on my Viborny side. I'm a decorated combat veteran who served multiple overseas tours of duty and a proud recipient of the Bronze Star for my actions in Iraq, which is one of our nation's highest awards. My family has a long and proud history in Yankton County. We homesteaded here in the 1880s and we've been here ever since. And Yankton's just an amazing community. And one of the things that I discovered, and I always knew, but Yankton is such a great place because of the great people we have here. And that's one of the things that's been reinforced on my nearly 4 years as a county commissioner. So, I'm certainly not perfect, but I get up each and every day and I work as hard as I can for the citizens of Yankton County, and hope and pray that my kids and the next generation will have a bright future in Yankton.
So what skills do you have that differentiate you from the other candidates?
Well, first off, I'm a currently serving county commissioner. So I'll be able to hit the ground running in January, and I'm already up to speed on what's happening in the county. Second off, I have 5 years experience serving on the Yankton County Planning Commission, more than any other candidate here. And I've also had 10 years experience as elected official on the James River Water Development District, serving the citizens of this area. 7 years as chairman in that organization. Like I said earlier, I'm a military veteran. I'm from here, graduated from Yankton High School, and I'd like to do a quick shout out to our teachers in the area. They do a great, wonderful job. Additionally, my other duties, I was elected to the Southeast South Dakota Association of County Officials, and that's an 8-county area of Minnehaha County, Lincoln, Turner, Clay, Union, Bonhomme, and Hutchinson County. And those officials voted me as their president to represent them, and that's a pretty big honor. I've also was reelected to the South Dakota Association of County Commissioners in Pierre, and so I'm part of a small group that represents county commissioners throughout our state of South Dakota and a direct representative to our legislature in Pierre. So that's a good honor. It's an honor to be part of that, and it really helps, I think, our county commissioners throughout the state of South Dakota. And to wrap up, I serve on the library board. I'm a county representative on the center board, and I serve on the historical society board. And I'm the only commissioner who has a perfect attendance record at our county meetings. So I'll be there working hard for you.
So I do want to just follow up on a few of those associations that you're a member of to make sure or help the listeners understand.
Yep.
So the Southeast South Dakota group, does that report to the state board that you're on for county government, or are they separate entities?
Yeah, it's a subgroup of that. I'm the president of that association, and what it really does is it gets our local area people together, and we talk about common problems, and really we try to collaborate and work together. As president, I'm trying to get us to try to streamline systems. Does it make sense for every county in the area to have a specialized piece of equipment we use once every other year? Maybe not. Maybe that's something that we can share and work together and reduce, taxpayer expenses. So
yes, those are good conversations to have with other counties and see if there are efficiencies that can be created in our region. So management of the county budget is one of the most important responsibilities as a county commissioner. What skills do you bring to the table for budget management, and what priorities do you have to create a balanced budget?
Sure. I've been in county government long enough with my 10 years on the James River Water Development District and my nearly 4 years on the county is first thing is you have to know how the budgeting process works. And then you got to go through the budget line by line. And I'm proud to say I was one of the people that instituted recording budgeting meetings. That hadn't been done in the past before I voted to do that. And so the public now can engage us in the budgeting process. Sometimes it takes a couple days to work it all out, but it is really one of the most important things that the county commissioners do. And like I said, we got to go through the budget line by line, and you really have to understand, the budget process, and experience is important for that. The vast majority of the funds that the county gets don't go to the county. 60% of the funds that we take in through property tax goes to the school board, and what's left over, some of it goes to the small towns, some of it goes to the city of Yankton. And then we have state mandates that we have to fund. We have to fund our court system. We have to fund the state's attorney's office and the sheriff's office and care of the poor and many other ones that aren't discretionary. We have to fund those. And really what's left over goes into places like the highway department or the ambulance. And so when it's all said and done, as a county commissioner, you have very, very little discretionary funding where you can decide, I want it to go to this project, because most of it is mandated by state law.
So of those optional areas, let's just call it that, are there any priorities that you have within that area to create that? Because I'm sure that's where you have to give and take for that balance in there.
Yeah, really that comes down to making sure you have a contingency fund, and we usually fund that at around $400,000. And for example, if we get a $300,000 juvenile detention bill, that's money will come out of there. If we have a 2019 event where we have massive flooding, the contingency fund will come out of that usually. So, just make sure you have a little bit extra, because you never know what's going to happen. You could have a global pandemic, and unfortunately, in the last 4 years, we've seen a lot of things that nobody thought we would. So.
Well, let's just hope that the pandemic brought in more money than you had to expend as the county at this point, because I know there's a lot of conversations with bridges and roads along with that money. So moving on to zoning, there's a lot of conversations about zoning in Yankton County. Do you want to share some of your thoughts?
Sure, and I've said this before, but every place that has zoning has some sort of controversy with it. The opponents will say, well, zoning controversy is unique to Yankton County, and that's just not true. My experience on the state board and peer just tells us that it's widespread. And I'm actually I have an appointment to the National Association of County Officials for Rural Development as well. And zoning, there are zoning issues in other states. Just a few examples. Lincoln County is dealing with some zoning issues. Minnehaha is dealing with CO2 pipelines. Cottington and Dual County have controversy over wind farms. Pennington County is creating a new mining ordinance right now that is running into controversy, and so wherever you have zoning, you're eventually going to have some controversy. But I think it's important to realize that zoning, the very definition of it is to protect the county, protect the safety, health, and welfare of our citizens, and I'm an advocate for safe and reasonable conditions that protect the citizens and protect future growth for the community. The whole point of zoning is to plan for the future growth in a safe and reasonable way. And economic growth paired with environmental responsibility and respect for rights, that's, in my opinion, the way to go.
So do you have any suggestions on how to enhance the transparency of Yankton County government?
Sure. When I took office 4 years ago, I led several transparency initiatives. First off, our zoning ordinance wasn't online. We put that back online so the citizens at home could look at that. Then we added, I instituted or or brought up that we should have more public comment periods. And so we went from no public comment periods to 2 public comment periods, one at the beginning of the meeting and then one at the end, so citizens can come in and share with us concerns. And we were recognized by our National Association for Government Transparency, and I believe we're the only board in the state that has 2 public comment periods per meeting, and I'm pretty proud of that fact. Additionally, our meetings are recorded on YouTube and Facebook and posted online, so if you can't make a meeting, you can watch it at home, and citizens or other people can participate via Zoom, which has allowed us to have experts or people from all across the country participate in a meeting, whether it's to advise us or speak on a project, and they don't have to fly across the country to participate, which is pretty neat. And yeah, so we've done a lot of things. I think some of the areas I would like to see improved is, I think right currently with some of our leadership on the county commission, we have too many executive sessions. And I've mentioned this, that I think some of the things that get talked about in executive session should be in the public light, but I'm not in a position to change that at this point. So.
Yeah, well, state law dictates what can and cannot be discussed.
Yes.
In those meetings.
Yes, but it also says you can have it in executive session, not that you have to as well. So.
Well, thank you for that information. I will say that one of the benefits of COVID is governments learning how to utilize the technology to keep people informed while they weren't able to get together in person. So both the city and the county have done a great job of utilizing those resources. So what ideas do you have to foster revenue opportunities in Yankton County?
Sure. You know, I think, like what I said before, one of the biggest problems with county government in general throughout the state, it is not overspending, but it's with the unfunded mandates that are placed onto the county by the state with no funding to pay for them. So, like I said before, by law, the county government has to provide sheriff services, courts, election, juvenile detention, poor relief, indigent care, mental health evaluations, all whose costs are skyrocketing at a higher percentage than taxes are going up, which creates a problem. The county property tax rate increases roughly 3% more or less, but some of these costs we're experiencing are going up 15, 20% or even more. And soon it gets to the point where the costs outpace income. And as far as revenue is concerned, something that we could look at more is affordable housing, because the more houses that are developed, that's a property tax option. But something new that I've actually been working on with some of the people up in Pierre is this medical and recreational marijuana. If it passes, which it may or may not, perhaps that's a revenue stream that's not really tapped into by anyone yet. Possibly our legislatures could allow counties to have a small piece of that pie, and that could help as a revenue opportunity for Yankton County.
And I know that the county currently partners with Boys and Girls Club on the JDAI program, which hopefully is helping to reduce some of the incarceration costs for juveniles that are required to be housed outside of Yankton County. So it's partnerships like that and the county being open to those are, in my opinion, another way that the county has really shown their openness to finding other opportunities to solve the problems.
That's been a really great initiative, and it has reduced our costs significantly.
So at this time, there's approximately 700 jobs open in Yankton County and actually about 30,000 across the state. Does the county have a role to play in growing the workforce or growing housing opportunities?
Yeah, I believe the county can do a better job. And you and I, Nancy, we worked on some of these with Gayville potentially getting a housing development, and the county was there, and I sat down with the mayor of Gayville, and we looked at ways we could make it work, and so the county does have a role. But I am proud to say some of our small towns are growing. We have a small housing development in Utica that is growing, and there's some new houses going in Lesterville, and there's, like I said, there's some interest in Gayville. And I think that's something that the county should help out with, is particularly affordable housing in these small towns. And additionally, I'm on the city-county planning board, and we're working with the city of Yankton, working at ways to, help facilitate that. I also led an initiative at no cost to the Yankton County's budget of looking at a sanitary district for the lake area. And one area that we identified that was a potential was the Highway 315 corridor. There's not a lot of development that's happened out there yet, so it might be a good opportunity for affordable housing close to town.
So speaking of the sewer district, what is the current status of that? I know there was some research being done. I'm not sure if that's been completed or not, but if you could share that.
It was really a decision by the commission. There wasn't a lot of support. Several commissioners voted against it, even though we knew we had a problem and it was free to study it, but they still voted against it. And so there was really not much. How much work do you want to put into something when half of the board is against it, even though there's no cost? And I really thought that was foolhardy, because everybody realized there was a problem. We got free money to study it, and there was still votes against it. And so hopefully with maybe some new people on there who are more pro-growth, that can be moved forward.
Thank you for that update. So what will you do to make sure all county residents, whether they live inside city limits or outside city limits, are represented in Yankton County government?
Sure. Well, I'm the only candidate, I believe, who's gone out and attended some of these small community meetings. I've been to every small community at least once. I had plans to go to more, but COVID happened. And I know all the mayors, and they call me and when they need something, and I call them, and so we have a good relationship with our small town. Additionally, I serve on the joint city-county planning board, which we have another meeting come up, and I've had several comments that the relationship between the city and the county is the best it's been in a long time. And I really enjoy going to the city meetings, and I think we're accomplishing a lot, working together and bouncing ideas back and forth. And so that's another thing I've done. And we need to work together. I've been in the lake area hosting a few meetings, and together we can accomplish more. Yankton County incorporates a lot of diverse areas. The city of the Yankton has most of the population, the lake area, small towns, and our rural areas, but we cover them all. Sheriff's service, courts, jails, highway department, roads and bridges. We try to make everybody happy, and they all have diverse needs, and we do the best we can. And we're all on the same team, Yankton County.
So is there anything you want to share with the viewers that was not a part of a previously asked question?
Yeah, sure. I've done my best to keep our county running well, running efficiently. Keeping our taxes as low as possible is something that I believe in. Like I mentioned earlier, a good relationship with all our residents, rural, small town, rural residents, the city of Yankton, the lake area. It's all important. Some of the initiatives that I've helped with, East Side Drive, is we ended up getting a $600,000 economic development grant for the Growmark expansion. And that's great. That not only helps the city of Yankton, it also helps our rural residents and our farmers to be able to get their product to market. And it really helped a local business out. Stone Church Bridge replacement, that's another example of us reaching out and making real progress. This will be the first large-scale bridge replaced over the James River in the county in nearly 70 years. That's a huge accomplishment. And again, I was the only commissioner, because I was on the state association board. I got to visit with some of the individuals involved in making this decision, and got to tell them our situation, and I think it really made a big difference. And So we got, several, almost $4 million for this project, which is a huge win for everybody in Yankton County and really our area, because it's right next to Hutchinson County, and Bonhomme County citizens utilize that road as well. And in fact, I went to Bonhomme County and Hutchinson County, and they both wrote a resolution of support to have this bridge replaced. And that's great when we have 3 counties working together, and those things happen. So, and for roads and bridges and infrastructure, again, we've replaced about 10 new smaller county bridges and over 70 culverts. These are projects that are done on time and under budget, and I think that's great for the county.
Yeah, I do applaud the county, the current commission, who has been working together to be creative to get as many points as you needed on those bridge grants, because I know sometimes raising fees seems short-sighted, but it really is thinking long-term when it gets you those additional points to be able to secure those bridge grants. So.
And we've, utilized technology too as much as we can. We were the first county in the entire state to have online building permit access, which really helped us great during COVID. And for our sheriff's department, the 24/7 program, people used to have to report and then blow through a straw, and we've actually automated that with a machine now where people pay, and that has helped with personnel costs. So we're always looking to utilize technology to make our tax dollars go as far as we can.
Well, thank you so much, Dan Klimisch, for joining me here today. Once again, Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th, but if you are excited and want to get in there and vote sooner, absentee voting is currently available. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.